So did you guys get a chance to try this property example? You're able to deploy it into record page, home page, app page. I get a chance?
Yes, I did
Hmm.
to home page and record page. App page.
Right. Yeah, this is my use case. So the property of JS file, you always refer with the format braces, property name, braces. This is how you'll refer the any JS property from in your HTML. Okay, and so how do you refer the materials of reference guide of LWC? You have your domain name and then component reference plus suit.app. So it will redirect to a different URL. You will get all the references and LWC guide and so on. Okay, so you refer this the top section. The components belongs to lightning namespace. The component belongs to lightning namespace. So suppose I'd like to bring an input text box. I'd like to bring an input text box in my UI. It means currently it just a template and a property. Okay, so how do you include a text box in this? So we have a component in your component reference. So the Salesforce provided the standard components. The standard components, you know, what is component actually? The component is basically two types. You can say standard components and custom components. If you take your Visualforce tag, okay, the tag like apex colon page, apex colon page block, all these are all what type of component? Standard components. You know, we can also create a Visualforce custom component. It's also possible. We can also create custom components. Similarly, in Lightning, it can be ARA or LWC. It can be ARA or LWC. In both the cases, we have a standard components and custom components, a library of standard components. So most of the standard components belongs to a namespace Lightning. Most of the standard components belongs to a namespace Lightning. So you can access all those components here below that Lightning namespace. Okay, so when you refer the component in your LWC, when you refer the component in LWC, you will refer Lightning, the namespace, colon, component name. Similarly, example, right? You refer like Lightning colon input, Lightning colon button, Lightning colon card, Lightning colon layout. Like that, you'll refer. The same reference if you do it in ARA. The same reference if you do it in ARA, it's going to be colon. So that's the naming convention you have to follow. Okay, so if you have a component something like the naming convention like button group, for example, the button group has some a separation, right? A two word joined together, button group. So they differentiated by the naming convention, lower camel case, small letters, lower cases, and uppercase broken by uppercase, isn't it? So same naming convention, if you follow it in Lightning, you'll see button hyphen group. That's it. So that's how we have to follow. Okay. So let's take an example of Lightning input. So what's Lightning input? So they given a detailed documentation here. Okay. See, you should develop the habit of referring the reference guide always, because you get any update from Salesforce, instead you refer multiple videos or blogs written by someone else, you first refer the reference guide. They given any updates, anything, they bring it into, they update into the product, it will reflect here first. Okay, so you'll see a documentation here, example documentation specification. An example, they given clearly, right? So what is the default input text box? How will you bring? How will you get a text input? So below you can see, yeah. So Lightning input. So this the whole documentation is for this tag only, this component only. The additional components like HTML and the other classes you are seeing, it's different. We'll cover that part later. I'll definitely cover that part. I'll take one session on what all this and the naming convention of Salesforce Lightning design system. Okay, SLDS is nothing but a Lightning design system. I'll give an idea about what is SLDS, and important classes, CSS classes to refer here. And Muthu, do you have a idea about CSS? Rajesh, do you have idea about CSS and
Yes, sir.
HTML?
Yes, yes.
Okay then. Sugandhi, yourself?
Sir, I know the HTML and CSS. Everything.
You know basic CSS, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Right, okay. So what this will do, this will bring a text box. So I initialize the value here, and then I given a text input lightning hyphen input, and this will bring a text box, and I just refer more about that particular component. So you can see here there is a specification tab. They given all the details about the attributes of the component. You know attributes, right? So we have a tag here. We have attributes as part of this tag, the component. Okay, it can be a label. So you can give a label, isn't it? And you can accept the value, like more or less your Visualforce tag value, right? So user, you can accept a value here. User enter the input, you can accept here. Okay, so let me first deploy this. Now the component can be deployed into Lightning app page or home page or record page. So it says successfully deployed. Then I can deploy into any page I want. Deploy into record page using Lightning app builder, right? So edit the page, current page. You go to a custom component. Okay. I think this is different. So I'm not sure whether it's the same arg we opened or different arg. So what I do, I just use the sfdc command and open the default arg so that I can make sure the same arg is opened, because I logged in here by login.salesforce.com. No? So let's see. Yeah, I think the arg which I opened earlier was different arg. So detail, edit. I'll change this background. I need to change this background. You know how to change the background of your lightning pages? I'll show you. Wait. So property example 1, isn't it? Okay. You get it, right? So there is a checkbox appearing now. Yeah, we got a checkbox here. Sorry, text box here, isn't it? Label here. So, and now I need to get the input. Okay, I need to get the input, whatever user entered into this property. Okay, so we have a value attribute, and in the value attribute, I'm going to receive the input into a property, JS property. So normally in the case of Visual Force page, we will go with the double quotes like this, isn't it? Suppose I need to get the input into this class variable. In the case of Visual Force page, you can use Apex, right? But here, your class is a JS class. The variable is your property. How will you get the input, user entered input into this property? You have to refer without double quotes, simply like this. Without double quotes, simply like this. This is how you get the input, okay, into the property. But you have to do some more additional thing here. It's not like user entered the any input in the text box will not get into this property directly. You have to initiate an event, JavaScript event. You know about JavaScript event? The events can be of different type. Okay, the browser event, the standard event, right? The form event. The form event can be like your button click, on click. Okay, so you might have heard the on change event. So using on change event, you can get the input, whatever user entered input into this property. Okay, so I'll get into the example later better, because first let us cover some basics tag. That's what I write. First, let me cover the basics tag, then I'll get into the on-change event part. So all you have to do is, you have to do on-change event, and then you have to refer the method. First, let me cover how to refer the method, then we'll get into that example. Okay, and I'll give more some more additional attribute purpose here. We have attribute called yeah, some more attributes, important attribute here. Just hold on. Input disabled, yeah, disabled attribute. So disabled attribute will disable your text box. The disable attribute, suppose you give a disable attribute, also given in that example. not given. Let me try the example more. Yeah, just I refer it as a disabled. Minus true. You just save this, retain this same page. No need to every time edit and save. Instead, what you can do, keep the edit page as it is, save the changes. The same component I made the changes, right? The component is already.
We are not able to hear you. When we are able to hear you.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yeah, now we are.
Yeah. So the example for disable attribute is not given. Okay, the example for disable attribute, I don't think so. It's given here, but you can try. Something. They are not given here whether disabled is can be true or false. So there are some cases you need to try with some logical understanding. Disabled because you already familiar with your visualforce tag, so you just go with boolean variable, or else sometimes you just refer the attribute like this simply need not do anything, value anything, just simply give like this will also sometimes work. That you have to try it. Okay, that is not defined the rule, because the documentation sometimes you will find not detailed, so you have to try trial and error to get it. Okay, some logical approach will definitely get the result. You have already some clarity on HTML or Visualforce, you can try these attributes by referring the documentation. So going through the documentation is very important. Okay, not necessarily all the tags needs to be try needs to be practiced with the example, but try some of the important tags when you get a time. Okay, now we'll get into lightning button. We'll get into lightning button tag. So other input tags, I'll just need not go one by one, each example, practical example now. I just give walkthrough now. When get into some examples, then and there, we'll refer this type of input. Example, we by default it is a text. Okay, the input text box, the type attribute says what is the type of input the text box user can enter. By default, it is type equal to text. Even if you don't give this attribute, the value is accepted as text. Text in the sense, I believe it can accept any characters. Okay, if it is a number, a date, for example, you go one by one, date. Then the type equal to date, you have to explicitly, you have to specify this type equal to date. Then I believe you'll get a calendar drop down in that case. Okay, you'll get a calendar drop down. Yeah, you'll see here. Enter date, you get the calendar widget appearing. No, calendar widget or drop down. So you select the date. So this widget is automatically rendered when you give type equal to date. And what next? The format, right? The format. So this default format, if you choose, these are the default format. So what is how the format can be changed? For example, I like to get the input, display the input in this format, display the input in this format. Then you have to work on the attribute. The attribute like value, right? The value you have to specify the format. So if you see the other example, date field with the predefined value, I think it's below. Yeah, here, right? And you'll see the format is different now. I think so. Okay, no, this is not the okay. Okay, this format basically make the input in this format, but everywhere the example is same, right? To September 7 to 7. Okay, value placeholder. Placeholder is you might be familiar, giving a help text to the user. Like a type here or anything, whatever you entered here, that will appear as it is. But when you choose the input, that will disappear. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me get into the number. Number is very important. Wait. Number input. So number input is basically just a number or with a decimal value, I believe. Decimal value. Yeah. Just a number. Okay. More than number, I wanted to show you currency. Right. I think number has that. Number includes everything, currency as well. That is example. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So type number percentage. Okay. Yeah. You can see the number is the currency formatter. Yeah. Done. Yeah. Here it is. Yeah. The formatter decides what is the number, what type of the number you can input to the text box. It can be a currency format or it can be a percentage format, right? So the formatter decides what currency format. By default, it's taken as a dollar. By default, it's taken as a dollar. Yeah. So the valid values for this formatter can be a decimal, percentage, or percentage fixed, or currency. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Need not spend too much time here. How to call a JS method? You see here, I'm going to declare a JS method here. So I simply say 100 click. Okay, open and close bracket and braces. We can have a logic here, right? So this is my simple method declaration in my JS class. Okay, so like you have a system debug in your Apex to display the anything you want in a log, isn't it? If anything can display in a log. In the JS, you have a console log, like your debug log. Okay, you have a console log. So any text inside the console log or any JS property, you can also resolve inside the method. Okay, so in your system debug, you will use plus. Am I right? In your system debug, you will use plus, but here you can use plus symbol, or else you can use comma also, right? And when you refer any property in the console log, right, any property, JS property, you have to just prefix that with this keyword. Remember this, okay? Any property, local JS property you are referring, not local to the method. If I have any property local to the method, for example like this, it is not necessary you have to prefix with this keyword. But if your class variable JS property, you have to prefix that with this keyword. You get it? So now I have a method, I have a console log. How to call this method? So from your HTML, I'm going to include a component, standard component lightning button, call the method, okay? And we have again we have a label here, okay? Label for the button, and we have an event. Event based, you can call the JS method. So what are the events we have in the button? It can be a double click, on click, isn't it? So how to get to the documentation? Lightning button. So we have a example here, right? The first example is over here, isn't it? Variant, sorry, label base, isn't it? And on click is the event based on click. If you click on a button, then you call this method. So you get an idea, right? So how to call a method? The same format. How do you refer the property? Okay, on click basis and the JS method name. You get my point? All JS method. So how to see the changes? You keep the Lightning App Builder page in edit mode, save it. If you are in the same component, if you are making changes in the same component, of course, if you are deploying different component, you refresh and get the component and drag and drop it. Okay. Now I use the same component, I save the changes, then I refresh my previewed page. You get right? So now the console log output I need to check. Its console log is basically for debugging. Your system debug statement in your Apex is also for debugging, right? So how to debug the output now? JS is a browser language, right? JS is a browser language. So right click, inspect. Right click in your browser, it can be any browser. You'll find inspect in every browser. Okay, it can be Microsoft Edge or Chrome or Firefox. Click on inspect. You get a debug controls here. Okay, you have to go to console. Right, you have to go to console and you can see the output here, the console log output here. Okay, that's how you'll debug your JS. In JS, any syntax error that will also show up here. But you know, the page will compiled, the page will run. You won't see any problem unless you see the console log. You cannot realize what happens to your JS code, whether it's run successful or not. You cannot realize, you cannot see it unless you get into console log. You will not able to see the error in your page like in your Visualforce page. You can't get it. Okay, so you have to, and the component, the attribute, the JavaScript event attribute, it's basically a JavaScript method, JavaScript event. Okay, that should case sensitive. If you use capital C here, it won't work. Okay, you have to use the right cases here. Okay. Now I click on this. The JS method should be called. I should get this input, the name as well. Okay, isn't it? Okay, and The button always, can add more look and feel. The button can always add more look and feel, like you're seeing here. The brand, detective, success. By default, the base. But if you add a variant is attribute have have the different values applicable to give a look and feel for your button. Example, brand will bring a blue background with a white font, okay, and the brand outline, just give a blue outline at the border with some radius in the sense, you'll see it's not sharp corner, right? It's some uh, some curved corner, isn't it? So that because of this variant, right? So you can also add that, you can also practice that example later. You want just one example I'll show. So variant you have to refer here. And all possible values you can try. I try with the success. Save and refresh. Right? I hope you understand. So if you debug more debug statement here, you can always clear with there is a clear icon. You can clear and debug again. Okay, in the developer console. Sorry, in the console log. Right now, you know how to refer the property. You know how to refer a method. Let's see. This one dimensional property, right? Just one single value. How about array? How about get into array and display that array in your HTML? Okay, you know how to display a property, a primitive property. Primitive in the sense that it can be a string or it can be a number, isn't it? So just refer the property like this. But if the property is a array of value, a class contains array of value, then how to render that? I'll show you. Before I'll just copy this. Anyway, this is an example you can refer. Okay. Yeah, array of values. So first, let's see how to declare the array. I take a different example now. Okay. Now this message is I'm going to declare a array now. Let's see cities. You know how to declare a array in JS. Okay. So we already know like the JS property. We don't have any specific data type to specify whether this property is going to accept used to store date or string or number. It just depends on the value that you are storing. Decide what type of attribute, isn't it? Property. Similarly here, we don't have any such data type. You just have to use square bracket to refer whether this is an array or not. So now this is an array. If you do like this simply, it means we are initializing the array property. Initializing array variable. For example, if you take your Visualforce, right? Isn't it? This is how you initialize, right? This is how you initialize your array in your Apex. Similarly, if you do like this, it is just an array with no value, null. Okay. So remember the double slash I used to include a comment, a commented statement in your JS. Okay. Right now, I'm going to initialize the value. So what type of array is this? That is decided by what type of value you are storing now. I'm going to store string value now. Now this array is of string type. Now this is my array initialized. Now I'm going to refer this array in my HTML. Okay, right. In Visualforce, you guys use some tag, right, to iterate the values. You remember any of the tag to iterate the array type of value from your Apex class in Visualforce page? What are the tags you'll use normally? A question to you. Sugandhi, you know that? What tag you'll use to iterate the array of values from Apex to Visualforce page? What type of tag? No idea?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I'm not used to.
In HTML, what you'll do? In case in HTML, have you come across any?
Yes, we will usually in HTML, but I am not sure.
Muthu, you know, right? Okay, no problem. Muthu, you know, right? What tag you'll use? You'll use in your Visualforce page? No idea?
For each iterate?
No. In HTML, in your Visualforce page, I'm asking. In Visualforce page, for Apex, suppose in Apex you have array of value. Okay. How will you iterate? Maybe Rajeshwar might have idea, right? Rajeshwar?
Ranjit, I'm unable to recollect the tag name, but yeah, we can.
You know, guys, I would suggest when you get time, you go through it also, okay? Because there are still the Visualforce is also a part of your Experience Cloud, the old Community Cloud page. Still, they rely on Visualforce page only, okay? So Visualforce page is very basics. If you have good idea on Visualforce page, you can really compare the other tags, okay? So there we have a data list, Apex colon data list, or page block, or data table, repeat. There are 4 tags only we have in Visualforce page. Okay. So here everything is going to be template. Okay. Listen here. Template. And the template will have 2 important attributes. The outer template as it is, you don't disturb that. The outer template is always there. You don't disturb that. Okay. To iterate, I'm going to include one more template tag with attribute called for each. Okay, the for each is going to refer what property you are going to iterate. So what is the property name? Cities. Right, now I give the city names here, cities here. Okay. Okay, you guys know, right? There is some issue in the syntax. You know why it is? How to refer the property? We already covered the example. How to refer the property?
Just can be no.
Yeah, what correction is it? No double quotes.
Yeah.
No exclamatory. No double quotes, no exclamatory. But still, it's showing up some issue. Reason it is not completed it. Okay, it's not completed it. You have to add one more attribute or item. So what it is actually, like your for each loop, what you are going to iterate? For every iteration, for every iteration, the variable that you're going to refer is going to hold one value from the array in every iteration. Example here, we have a first value is Chennai, right? The first looping, first iteration, C will have a Chennai. Then it will get into the block. It will get into the line number 3. Again, it go and take another value from the array, Delhi. It will move Delhi here. Replace the value here, the old value with the new value. Then again it will come, right? That iteration will go till to the last element of the array. Okay. Now, very important thing here, you can add any HTML tag here or any standard component here. Right now, go with the HTML tag, para tag. Remember, any tag you can use here. Okay, but what is the most important here? You have to specify a key attribute here. You have to specify the key attribute here and specify the ID value here. Why I'm saying ID, the unique value of the array. Right now, the array is a primitive type, right? Array is a primitive type, right? Array of string. In the case of array of object, I would refer here ID, a.id. Suppose you are referring account object, a.id. But now I'm going with C because that's the only value available here. So what is the importance of this? This attribute will take care of rendering the any changes in the JS for this content, array content. Any changes in array content in the JS file, you will get the updated content here because of this key. Okay, so key is very important. That should be a part of an immediate tag next to the template. Immediate tag means what? Suppose I have a tag inside the paragraph. Okay, suppose I have a division and another HTML tag, right? You guys know. I cannot do like this. You get my point? If this is the case, then what I have to do here? In the key, I have to put the, in the division, I have to put the key. You get my point? So you have to use the key attribute to the immediate tag of your template. Okay. Now rendering the value, right? How to render the value? Simply just say, for example, like city name. So this is what you actually are rendering, referring the value. Okay, this is not referring the value. This just value the key value. That's it. Okay, and this is the actual the way of rendering the property value here. That's it. So what next? You have to just
one doubt here. So for all the for each loop, whenever we are classifying, then the next step should be key should be declared.
Yeah. Only this can be changed. This can be a lightning card or anything like H1 or anything. But you will have to use in the key in the immediate tag of your template. Yeah. Isn't your question?
No.
No.
Okay. So deploying this. Okay. And then refresh. I'm sorry. It's a new component, right? I need to drag and drop. Isn't it? It's repeated. Okay. Right. So how to render this input in a better form? with help of HTML. I like to display this in the form of bulleted item, right? Like ordered list, unordered list. You might have heard, no? Ordered list. The best, simplest tutorial for learn HTML or JavaScript can be CSS, can be W3 School, So HTML list, yeah, you'll see HTML list, unordered list, ordered list. Ordered list like a sequential number you can see in every item. It's just a bullet item. Okay, so you'll see the unordered list UL and all list item, right? So I will use this example. Suppose I like to display that, right? So this one, right? So I'll copy this example for reference before I modify this. Another format I give now. Okay, and here I just say li like this. Okay, and outer tag I put UL. UL is not necessary, I believe. UL, without UL it will work. Without UL it will work. Okay. Yeah. You have to manually align like this, not like your developer console. In developer console, you can put Control A Shift Tab, right? Oh, that's the reason it's not working. Wait. It should be like this. Li instead of para. Li. You see some changes I made right here. So instead of inside the para, I use Li here and close the Li here. I think it should work now. Get my point? What changes I made here? Okay. Yeah. Let's try this. So now Li can be an immediate tag. You get the output, right? Okay, so use your logical thinking sometimes, to achieve the result. So instead of para, just replace the para with Li. Now li in HTML syntax, the li doesn't have anything like key. Anything like key you cannot use in your HTML, but in the template, inside the template, the key is a part of it. So keys can be any part of any tag you use that should be immediate to the template. Okay, and there's a similar example, array example with array of object type. Now it's array of primitive type, right? Array of object type. So it's a repeated example only. It is there in the guide also. Right. I'll just show that here. Then later I'll show here. If object type. Now I'm declaring array contacts. Okay. Follow the naming convention. If you are going with a single one, like this, its naming convention will be contact. If you're array, then contacts, contact list, isn't it? So now array of contact. Yeah, exactly. See. So this format. How do you call this format? This format.
It will get arrayed in the, key and value. Every key and
Yeah. Now we have a key called ID. You can refer a key equal to ID, and this is my a format of JSON format. This array. See the JS, JavaScript, JSON. JSON is JavaScript object notation. Okay, so it's all both are interrelated. So JSON format will have always key value pair, a property value, and the whole thing is enclosed by braces, right? So now it's array, so the value is repeated. If you take a single dimensional JSON format, object type, I'm talking about object type, it's going to be like this. Session JSON format, you will come to know. I'll share my integration videos. You'll see the detailed session on the format. So this is my one object value. If multiple objects, comma separated, all will be enclosed by square bracket. Get it? So you can also multi-dimensional array also, right? Now just an idea. Now this is my array. How to refer this array in my JS, right? So template. You know what needs to be done here, right? For each and for it. What is for each should have refer the values to be iterated. Okay, then the variable to hold one value at a time. Then what next? Any tag and you have to use key, and so now you are referring key. Key should be referred through this variable, right? It is something like this. How will you refer the? How will you give the comment in the your HTML? Same like your Visual Force, right? So this is something like this. C equal to whole property. You'll have ID. So when you refer that one value, then it's going to refer by basis C dot ID. Get my point? Then how to refer the name value here? How to refer the name value here? C dot name.
C dot name.
Yeah, C dot name or title, whatever. So
Here in the third line, you have closed, right? After that, you have used.
oh, here this is a single double quotes is a problem. Given double quotes here, typo.
Okay, and in the third line also, P paragraph closed, right? After that, we have used C name. Is that correct?
It is closed now. Check no. Fine. It's. I think it's okay.
Okay.
We had issue earlier because we had double quotes here. Be okay now. Yeah. You got it right. You know what I'm expecting? You need to create a lightning application called LWC example. Okay. As part of this lightning example, you are going to add a tab. You are going to add a app page. App page is like your tab, isn't it? Add that tab as part of your lightning example. You know what I'm saying? So here also you do the same thing. You you created this example, right? You add this example. Create an app page. Named property or basic example. Okay, and you add this as part of your any Lightning application. This one. Yeah. You get what I'm saying, right? That you do. This is something new. You try. Okay. It's something new. Try. Again, you add this as part of array example is there, right? Array example. Yeah, as part of array example you add. In the Lightning app page, you choose a template, right? In the template, you'll add one more one part of the form. No, you put that one. You know what I'm saying? You have a template, right? A template as a sample example. You have the template, no? So below you can add here, or right side you can add here, like that. You can add this. Clear? One to six, right? 3, 4, 5. Notes is here. Use case is here. Right, and videos I'll upload in the channel and share. That's what I'm planning. If not, then I will share it in the regular drive or over here. Okay. Fine, guys. Will you complete this? Take a time and complete this. No, we'll slowly increase the examples and complexity. Okay. Fine.
Okay, can you please share this link? Drive link.
Yeah. Hold on 1 minute. Let me share it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Bookmark it. No. Bookmark this link for anytime access. It's in chat window. Fine. Okay, then we'll connect tomorrow, Saturday. Possible for you? Was I audible? I'll send the link in chat window. Okay.
Yeah, I got the link, but tomorrow and day after tomorrow will not be available. I need to plan to go to my native. I will be driving.
I have tight schedule tomorrow anyway, but let's plan for any other days. Weekend we'll see.
Sure.
So next class we'll connect on Monday then.
Sure.
Okay then. See you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.